Welcome to In Conversation, folks. We come to you from Washington, D.C. My name is Ramesh
And I'm Aastha Verma.
Well, folks, you must have been watching Olympics. I want to tell you, they're the most exciting thing. United States of America has won more medals than any other country.
I know. You remember the good old days, the Cold War days when the U.S. would always compare its medal count to the USSR, right? And it was like, who's going to get the most medals? Now, because Russia has split up and become all these different countries, it's kind of sad because they really haven't been very prominent in the medal count. In fact, there was a controversy. If you were watching the men's skating event, Yevgeny Plashenko, who was their lead ice skater, he landed a quad, which is a very difficult jump. It's 4 rotations.
Yes.
And the American, Evan Lysacek, did not. He did not. He only...
he did not even attempt it.
He did not even attempt it, but he had a flawless program. He had no mistakes. Yevgeny had a couple of shaky landings on his jumps, but he was otherwise a clean performance. And he did not win the gold medal. Evan Lysacek won the gold medal, the American, and Russia was quite upset about it. In fact, they said, later on that they thought it was biased and, that only a man who lands the quad should win.
Prime Minister Putin said, in our hearts and minds, you won the gold medal. And, of course, they changed the program. I remember the skater was complaining in a very roundabout way that I thought quad was necessary. But, they changed the program. So next year, everybody's going to be just a pretty dancer. By the way, did you see the Indian-dressed American dancers?
I did.
Wasn't that fantastic?
It was, and it caught me completely by surprise. You pay so much attention to figure skating that you sometimes forget there's another sport, ice dancing, which is also fun to watch.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, there was an American couple, Davis and White. They actually danced to a couple of Bollywood songs in kind of a full Bollywood style. He was wearing like a full, I think, sherwani,
Sherwani, yes. And she was wearing lehenga, but folks, that was a little short lehenga.
It was a modified lehenga, but they pulled off what I thought was an incredibly difficult thing to do, which is put Bollywood choreography on the ice while maintaining their ice dancing rules.
That's right.
And they put together a pretty nice performance. What I liked was they didn't try to do some fusion hybrid thing. They tried to stay pure to the Bollywood look.
And they did. And it was flawless performance. I hope to win the medal. Last Sunday I was watching the ice hockey game between Canada and United States of America. Folks, Canadians had labeled it to be a Super Sunday. They were so sure of winning it. But the Americans upstaged their day. It went from Super Sunday to Black Sunday. But Canadians were good. I was watching the game. They made 49 attempts to make a goal on the American goalie. He was so good, he returned 46 of them and only allowed 3 goals. Whereas Americans were only able to do 36 of them, and they made 5 goals. So if you look at the talent, Canadians have talent, but the Americans have the heart. Those kids who are playing, I was so happy for them. Canadians are tough.
This was a pretty rocky Olympics for Canada overall. If you've been watching some of the news coverage, they got off to a pretty shaky start. Of course, they started with tragedy, which was unfortunate. But even the games themselves, between the weather being bad, some of the venues were not quite ready the way that they should have been. They were trucking in snow from other places to try.
They also had a bankruptcy on the entire mountain. That was under contract, and somehow they had now paid. But, of course, show goes on.
Show goes on, and, overall, I would say they're ending strong, even if they started off a little bit shaky. And, as always, it's a lot of fun to watch. And the Indian team, we actually had a team from India. We had 3 people on the Indian Olympic team, which is sort of sad. Out of 1 billion people, if you can only muster a team of 3, I'm unhappy only because we actually have a fairly decent opportunity to be good in Winter Olympics because we have the whole Himalayan range, right? There's no reason why we don't have enough snow in India to be able to be fairly good at sports. We just don't have the money maybe or don't have the focus.
That's it.
Indians seem to be everywhere these days. Not just in the ice dancing event and not just in the news, but in Sports Illustrated. The cover is not, of course, Indian, but if you flip through the pages of Sports Illustrated, you will find an Indian model. Her name is Sonia Dara, and she is a student at Harvard.
Yes.
Which
and
is an interesting
4.0
thing.
student.
Well, it's always the quiet ones. You have to watch
No,
out
but
for.
the mother said is because she had 4.0 and she's a great multitasker, they allowed her to go ahead and be a model. And she's the first Indian model to be one of the Sports Illustrated models.
I know, and she looks quite good. So I'm just
Yeah.
happy that we're finally being represented in all the different ways that we can be represented.
But some good, some bad. For instance, you remember the professor that killed 3 colleagues, 3 other professors? Well, one of them was an Indian.
I know.
Sad too. And so on and so forth. So we are everywhere. We somehow, sometimes we don't talk about it. But this is the year you will find there's so many Indian Americans running for Congress. And I'm hoping one will get through. One will get through. This will be the year.
You think so? I hope so. I mean, we are a community that's quietly making its way up the ranks. And certainly there have been so many Obama appointees, including, of course, Mr. Rajiv Shah, who was featured prominently with respect to the cleanup in Haiti. He's leading USAID. So I think you're right. It is a matter of time. And, you can also say that Bobby Jindal has already sort of accomplished that to some degree.
Yes.
So,
First governor.
First governor, so you have to give him some credit there for maybe, giving others an opportunity now to try the same thing.
You ever heard of Sant Chatwal from New York?
I remember that name from back in the Clinton days. Didn't he have some rocky waters with respect to raising money for the Clintons?
Well, that is also in the story. Basically, he's being awarded Padma Bhushan by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, and BJP says, no, he doesn't deserve it. Man has a history, man has a character. Please don't give it to him. So he got really angry. He gave a wonderful quotes to Aziz Hanifa. I want you to read some of this, and you can make up your own mind. He said, they can talk any of these stupid things in India. You don't get an award unless you've been 101% cleared. And I have been cleared of every damn thing by the American government, the federal government, by the judge, everything. And the same thing has been done, investigated in India and cleared a long time back.
Wow.
But you know what I was surprised at is he's saying that he's the one who arranged a dinner between President Clinton and Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He's taking credit for Clinton giving the White House State Dinner. He's taking credit for putting up the dinners, the state dinners for President Bush, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Manmohan Singh twice. He's taking credit for putting up the nuclear deal together. I mean, this man is taking credit for everything. He says he's worked hard for 30 years for India, and he totally deserves Padma Bhushan.
I wonder what the criteria really